Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Loki Thanoscopter, released in 2022. This vehicle made its first on-screen appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Disney Plus show, Loki. More specifically, Season 1, Episode 5, entitled Journey into Mystery. In that episode, our heroes are trapped on this planetoid, I guess we could call it, called the Void. The Void is where all deleted timelines or remnants of timelines go. And one of those timelines, we had the Thanos-copter. It's actually in the episode for a couple seconds, and it's so funny to see it. Where this originally came from was a 1978 comic entitled Spidey Super Stories number 39. In the comic, the Mad Titan himself, Thanos, comes to Earth by cosmic bridge? Nah. Interstellar Armada? Try again. No, a helicopter to try and get the cosmic cube away from our heroes. And that cracks me up. I love old Marvel. It's campy, it's fun, it has a lot of fantasy and science fiction, and I dig it. I've been reading a lot of the old epic collections, and I'm in love with the old Marvel comics. So to have this, it's cool. It's sort of linking my love for the past, but also for the MCU. I'm a big fan of mostly everything MCU, including Loki. That's my favorite Disney Plus show as of right now. And to have this, it's just awesome. It's a piece of Marvel history. You know, we're looking at the future as well. So for the size of this bad boy, it's just under 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters long. So it's a nice size craft, and we'll have some size comparisons later on in the video. So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is look at the mold, get nice and close, show everybody at home what we're really paying for, then we'll look at the paint, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. So let's kick this video off looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So up first, we have our cockpit, which has a chair and also some controls. We'll have a close-up look in just a few. Underneath, we have our landing skids, which looks pretty cool. Right here, we have our tail cone. Up here, we have our tail fins and also tail rotor. It doesn't spin, which kind of stinks, but it is molded there. We have Thanos written on the sides, looking pretty cool. Our engine section right here. And also, we have our mast and main rotor blade, which is pretty sick, or I should say rotor blades. Underneath, we have one rivet holding it together, and, you guessed it, copyright crap. All in all, it may be very simplistic, but it gets the job done. So now let's have a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, we'll begin with the bottom of the craft and then work our way around. Let's begin right here. We have one rivet and copyright crap. Looks pretty cool. This piece is die cast, which is nice. And then we have our landing skids right here, which are plastic, and you can see the color difference between the two. And actually in the main body as well. But they're molded pretty well. Not really any detailing besides the shape. But it is what it is. Pretty cool. Coming up to the main body, we have line work, which is very simplistic. Comes from the bottom, goes all the way up. And that's basically it. The same goes for this side. You can see the line work go all the way up. Pretty nice. The top of the cockpit is very smooth, and look at that. Almost like a glass finish. Very glossy. Awesome. Coming down, we have plastic for our windshield. And you can see the chair and controls there, which looks pretty cool. Having a closer look, we can see a headrest, some nice detailing on that chair. Then we have our control sticks, which are painted, I guess, the best they could do. But not too bad. Again, we're really zoomed in here. But pretty nice. Excellent. Coming up, we have our mast, and then we have our rotor blades. Now these aren't really detailed per se. Like here we have our little connector parts, but there's no angles or anything. And yes, it does spin quite well. Technically, these on the other side are covered with, you guessed it, more hidden copyright crap. I knew it was too good to be true to just have Hot Wheels and Thanos-copter. When you think about it, the copyright crap has more detail in than the helicopter does at parts. Pretty messed up. But I guess they had to put the copyright somewhere, and you're never really going to see underneath the blades, so good call. You can see here, the copyright is 2017. There was indeed multiple copies of this. I know there was I believe a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive where Thanos was in here, and it was painted, nice and clean, nice yellow. But yeah, I don't have that one. But moving on, we have our engine section right here in the back. It's detailed okay, I guess. It's not really super detailed, but the average shape is there. Pretty nice. Coming back, we have our tail cone, which looks good. No panel lines or anything like that. Just very smooth all the way around. And then on the underneath, it's all recessed in, I guess, for the mold. So, kind of a bummer there, but Coming back here, we have our tail fins and also our tail rotor. And they look good. It's a nice representation of what it should be. But it doesn't rotate, which is kind of a pain. But, all in all, pretty nice. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. Hopefully I covered everything. There's not much details on here, and I think I know why. If you remember, on the bottom of the main rotor blades, there is a copyright for 2017. So what I think they did is, Hot Wheels probably made a con exclusive with Thanos in here based on his comic appearance. And what they did is, once they saw it on Loki, they just gave it a new paint scheme, barely, and then sold it as a Loki craft. So, for comic book collectors, this is pretty sick because it's accurate to what we see in that particular medium. However, when it comes to the MCU and other films, we would think some items would be more detailed because it's based on something that's more tangible, real, besides what's on the page. So I think that's what the issue is with this. But for what it is and what it represents, I'm okay with it. It was in the show for a couple seconds and then that was it. It was a nice Easter egg. And the fact that we even have this is sort of a gift. And in many ways, a love letter to Marvel fans. So, pretty sick. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Hot Wheels Loki Thanoscopter, this bad boy features 4 different colors. First up, we have yellow. Now right off the bat, you can tell that the yellow from the die-cast piece on the top and the plastic piece on the bottom does not match. But at least they tried to get the tone right. It just doesn't work with that beautiful gloss on the top. Moving on, we have dark yellow for the mast, as well as the engine section, which looks cool. For our third color, we have black for the Thanos words on the left and right side of the helicopter's tail, and I think it looks kind of cool. It's all worn away as well. And for our final color, we have gray. Now the gray is seen in the cockpit chair, the controls, and also it's sort of sprayed all over the die-cast piece of the top of the helicopter. This is to symbolize that it's rusting and aging, and I think it works quite well. And now for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Loki Thanoscopter seen in the center. I have it next to some other Hot Wheels superhero-inspired vehicles. First, on the right-hand side, we have the X-Men's X-Jet, looking sharp. And finally, on the left-hand side, we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Party Wagon, which is sick. It has a lot of moving parts on there. It's painted really well. Don't worry, we'll take a look at that one day in the future real soon. As always, if you would like to see reviews of any of the vehicles I showcased today, please check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Loki Thanoscopter, released in 2022. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Loki Thanoscopter, released in 2022. Now, just because I'm an MCU fanboy doesn't mean I'm gonna love this thing. I think it's quite good, but it could have been a little better. I'm a man of details. I would love to see some panel lines on here and different little components here and there. But for the most part, it has all the main parts that it should have. You know, we have our landing skids, the rotors are all there, the engine, the major parts like the tail cone is there. It works. I would have also liked to have a rotating tail rotor in the aft section, but the model is what it is. For our die-cast and plastic parts, the top is die-cast, the bottom is plastic, and you could definitely see a color change there like we discussed. It's good, but it just could have been a little better. What I really love it for is what it represents. It represents the past of Marvel Comics, and also in the MCU. You know, they brought it back as an Easter egg, and it's a fun little gift for the fans. So the fact that we even have this particular piece is quite cool. Now, dealing with the paint, we got about 3 different colors here working together, and they could have did the whole thing just pure yellow, but they didn't. They coated it with that, you know, gray little speckle bits all over the place, and it makes it look old and worn out. The Thanos is even wearing away, and to me that's awesome. Where we see this in the Loki show is a place where things are just dropped to rot and turn to dust. So the fact that this is basically wearing away due to time is pretty cool, and I understand the paint scheme, and I quite like it. And that's basically everything. You know, I'm not really the biggest helicopter know-it-all, but from my own research, I did see that it was based on a Bell 47 helicopter, and when I type it in and look, they almost look identical. You know, you have the big sphere cockpit, we had the tail cone and all that stuff. So if you're a fan of helicopters and you know the actual helicopter this is based off of, please let me know. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything I have to say about this awesome piece of Marvel history today. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. If you'd like to see new videos every week, subscribe. Again, to all of you out there who are taking time out of your busy and hectic schedules, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody!